So I'm going to talk about a video I saw by 1STMAN like a long time ago, about a year ago now, and it really left an impression on me at the time. So it's just what I'm going to talk about in this video basically. And this video, like obviously it's still up. You can look it up. It's called like "Me and Andrew Tate Have a Stimulation Problem," and it's just about how basically Chris starts the video by talking about how there's this kind of clip of Andrew Tate that you might have seen. It was quite popular at the time, of like him saying how he just has to go at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and like he can't do things slowly, and the only life where he feels really happy is where just everything's happening all at once. And he says like he's got the assets and the kind of lifestyle and the money now where you can just do everything all at once. So if there's something happening in Dubai, like you could just go there straight away. If there's something going on in like, I don't know, Marbella, you can just go there straight away. And if the world's just open to him and he can just do everything all at once. And it's this kind of fast-paced lifestyle that a lot of entrepreneurs talk about. And Andrew Tate says, this is the only lifestyle that he can live. He's only really happy if he can live like this, where he's just going really fast all the time. And Chris sort of extrapolates a lot of what he's saying. And he says, yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like, I have to be going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, just, and a lot of people aren't like that. And he uses the example of, he said he wanted to go away to Paris recently, in the video. And he texted a lot of his friends, and he said like, right, who wants to go to Paris? I'll pay for everything. Let's go this weekend. Like, who's down? I'll sort it all out. You guys just need to turn up. And he said like none of his friends were interested in going. And in a sense, like, that's kind of annoying. He was kind of angry, but at the same time he was like, you know what, like, fair enough. Because he recognised that like not everyone's like this, where he just wants to go, they just constantly want to do stuff. And I think a lot of people, and I think his friends in this example, like a lot of people are just happy to just take it easy on the weekends and go to the pub, then go back home and watch some TV and then go to sleep. And like that is enough for most people. But just Chris said like it's not enough for him. Like he has to be going faster. He has to be doing more stuff, going to places. Getting stuff done. And I really relate to that actually in myself. Like even yesterday, like I went out for a walk on my own around Oxford, and I just had such a productive day. Like I just wandered in. There was a student protest going on, and I just went into the protest and I just talked to a bunch of the protesters there, like tried to understand a bit more about what was going on, and then I bought like a selfie stick and I went to Abingdon, which is a town near Oxford, and did some vlogging there. And yeah, I just came back and I was just absolutely exhausted. And I just feel like if I'd gone for a walk with someone else, I wouldn't have done any of that stuff. Like we'd have gone to a cafe, got some food, walked about a bit and then just come back, and that would have been nice, but there would have been a part of me that was sort of unserved. I do have this kind of fire inside of me of just like wanting to make things happen, like all the time, really fast. And I've just realised, like, I used to think everyone was like this, but I've realised like no, very few people actually are like that, where they just want to just grab the world by the horns and just make shit happen. And like for most people, like it's enough just to have like a chill weekend and have like a safe job to go back to, and that's fine for most people. And it's funny, like it makes life quite lonely if you're not like that, because you are in a minority and it's difficult to connect with other people who are like that. And yeah, the real time I remember this phenomenon in my life was when I was a student in Manchester, and I just remember constantly wanting to go out, and like drink and party and stuff like that. And it's interesting because, in a sense, it's a bit different to kind of what Andrew Tate and um, 1STMAN are talking about. You know, they're talking more about entrepreneurship and like accomplishing stuff and things like that. But I actually think there's not a massive difference between the two. Being, I think it's funny. So many sort of self-improvement entrepreneurs kind of had a phase of being a party boy, you know. I think being a party boy and kind of having a lot of ambition, like, it's kind of weird to say, but they're on the same street, you know what I mean? They're two houses on the same street. But yeah, this was me, like, I was very, I just always wanted to go out. And it just really confused me because, like, my friends just didn't have that desire, you know. And you know, we'd sort of go out on a Friday night, we'd go to a pub, and then it would get to kind of 10, 11 o'clock, and I'd be right, let's go back home now. And, you know, we'd go back home and watch some TV or play some video games. And the idea that that was a night out for us was just didn't sit well with me. Well, for me, I was like, I wanted to finish the pub at 12, then go to a club, and then go back to an after party and stay out till like 6 in the morning. You know, I just had this fire inside of me, and I just constantly made me want to do that. And it's funny because, in a sense, I saw that as a bad thing because drinking is bad, and you know, you do stupid stuff when you're drunk. But I also think like it's kind of good as well in a way, and that desire in and of itself to like go out and party, like, it's not a bad thing, you know. And it's a shame that I didn't feel like that part of me was more served by wasn't more served by sort of at that time, you know. And yeah, I mean, I just think if you're very ambitious or like you're really sort of goal orientated, and you just, even if you're not going at 100 miles an hour, you know, you have this kind of desire to just go at 100 miles an hour, you know, life can be quite lonely. And I think that's kind of where I am at the moment, is like, I've just recognised that I've got this desire to just do all this weird stuff that, like, and most people just don't get it, you know. And like, yeah, like Chris says, you know, that's fair enough, you know. I am the abnormal one, you know. There's nothing bad about wanting to just go home on a Friday night, you know, have a nice job that's in accordance with your talents, and you get paid a salary, and you go back home and you just watch some TV, you know, like, that should be enough, you know. Like, why you know, it doesn't make sense necessarily that, like, oh, I need to be doing all this other stuff. And yeah, like, I'm the exception in this scenario, like, I get it, but that is how I am, you know, and I have to embrace it. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to do about this way that I am, you know. And I do think you can't go at 100 miles an hour. Like, I think that Andrew Tate lifestyle, even though I understand it, like, I get where he's coming from, I do think that no human being, no matter how ambitious, is really happy in that kind of instant gratification lifestyle where you can just take a plane to anywhere, you know, and just do everything all the time. You know, particularly when, like, the places you're going are like Dubai, you know, which I'm sure are fascinating, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like if I met Andrew Tate and I spent time with him, it would be a lot of kind of very fast stuff, but very shallow, you know, like it'd be lots of fancy restaurants, but the restaurants would be very, like, they'd have seed oils in them, you know, they wouldn't, it wouldn't be very healthy, but it'd be very sort of, look very fancy, you know, like when I see these vlogs of people in Dubai, that's the vibe I get, and just like, you know, I do think there's another side to male life that's slightly more, or just life basically. I mean, it's not really men or women, but that Chris talks about as well. The first one talks about as well. That's slightly more kind of refined and slow, but deep. But in principle, like, I do still get where Andrew Tate's coming from. I think the point I'm at now is, like, I recognise that I want to be going a million miles an hour. But what do I do about it? And how do I do that in a way, how do I use that desire in a way that I'm genuinely still relaxed and happy? I mean, that's the thing, like today, I went to bed last night and I realised, like, I'd overdone it, you know? Like, I was extremely anxious in the evening. I just realised that I'd sort of overdone it. And even though I'd had this desire, it didn't necessarily mean that it was, like, right that I did it. And I woke up this morning and, you know, I just sat outside, had some food, and I just didn't touch my phone for like the first few hours of the day. And then I went to touch my phone and I suddenly had like a lot of anxiety about going on it. I associated even now, I associate my phone with quite a lot of anxiety. But anyway, that's a side point. My point is, like, you know, you got that ambition, but like, what do you do with it? That's another question. But I think as a starting point, you just got to realise that you have this, you know, for some reason it's just genetic or your upbringing or whatever, but you just have this desire to just, you know, forgive me for saying this, but like sort of conquer the world basically. Like you just want to grab life by the horns and just demolish it. And it's like in a way that a lot of people don't. Like a lot of people just don't understand where you're coming from when you say this. And this could take a lot of forms. It could take entrepreneurial ambition. It could take, you know, you want to do lots of cool stuff. But it could also take, like, you just want to go out and party 24/7, you know, which is a real experience that I had. And, you know, even now, like, when I have ambitions to do other stuff, like, it's still coming from that same desire to go out and party. Like, it's still the same feeling, you know. So just recognise that, and then what to do about it, I don't fucking know, but it's got to be a good start, right? Just to know where you're coming from. So yeah, there you go. Thanks very much for watching, guys. As always, link in the below, link in the description. If you want to book a free one-on-one with me, talk about your goals, get you like some accountability, stuff like that. Be a pleasure to hear from you. But otherwise, guys, it's been a pleasure.